bottom of the third inning. Joining us now, it's a great pleasure to have along Rangers president and general manager Jon Daniels. Jon, thanks very much for joining us.
You got it. Thanks for having me.
You wanted to send along a hello?
Yeah. My son Lincoln's at home watching us, rooting for the comeback here. Maybe my biggest fan, one of our biggest fans. Might be one of our best scouts, though. It tells you how good I am at my job. All winter long, he kept saying, "You know who we need to get this offseason?" He said, J. Happ. I guess he was using that was in the video.
I thought you were going to say Jonathan Lucroy.
No, he said Happ, and I said, "Oh, that's nice. That way, buddy." And meanwhile, the guy went 20 games, so
yeah.
Now we're going to listen to him.
Well, you'll listen next time.
Exactly.
Now, what's his bedtime tonight on a school night?
He's about 9:30.
9:30. Okay.
Yeah. If you ask him, he'll say 9:45 or 10.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we still got some time to get you some runs, Lincoln.
Before we go much further, got to say congratulations to you and your staff on the success of this ball club, putting together another championship ball club. And you guys have to feel pretty good about what's going on.
I do. Thank you. And I appreciate your comments the other night there in Oakland as well. It's really a great group to be part of on and off the field. A lot of good people here, and to have success any one year takes everybody pulling on the same end of the rope, and certainly to do it with some consistency, which we've been fortunate enough to do. I can't speak enough about our people. Everybody, our scouts, our development folks, the big league staff, ownership, front office, business side. A lot of people have to be doing their jobs well to have success, as you guys know. So we're fortunate to have that right now.
Boy, and I don't think we've had a season, at least since I've been around here, that it's pointed out the importance of everybody, as you mentioned, everybody being involved and producing, no matter what position you're in. The guys you've added have been a tremendous benefit to the club, and it's not just, we go out and get a Cliff Lee, for example, and he does his thing and everything's great. Well, you've added 3 or 4 people along the way that have all had a profound impact on the club.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that speaks to a number, good scouting, good selections, but really to the environment that's been created in our clubhouse. And Banny and his staff, and then the veteran leaders on the team, where we have this atmosphere, this environment, this culture, all the catchphrases that you use. But listen, all of us would rather go to work somewhere that we're comfortable, and that we believe in the people we're working with, and we trust in them, and we're inspired by them and their skills. And I think that's what we've got right now. I don't think it's a coincidence that Carlos Gomez is having success here. I think first of all, on the hitting side, he's getting some instruction that some new things he's talked about. But I think he's thriving in an environment where people believe in him and are allowing him to be himself. And to be fair, we got him after he was released, so certainly the humility piece and had probably hit rock bottom. But that for me is the kind of common theme between those acquisitions. Guys come in here, they're free to be themselves, they're encouraged to kind of play the way that they play, and you've seen them have success.
I don't think I've seen a lot of players come here over the years that once they got here, they've loved being here. But I don't think I've ever seen anyone as giddy as Carlos Gomez about being a Ranger.
I know,
he just loves it.
How about how eloquent he is when he speaks, the way he speaks? He's a beauty. No, he's just some of the phrase he said. I've been blind the first however many years of my career, and now I can see. But he's having a good time, and it shows the way he plays.
Yeah, unfortunately, he didn't try to claim that as his own phrase, but he took the idea. And the first thing that I can remember him saying publicly, anyway, was how happy he was to be reunited with Carlos Beltran, and how much he looked up to Carlos and the relationship they had.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting piece with Carlos Beltran. I guess we have multiple Carlos, but with Carlos Beltran is that how much ownership he's taken. He's only been here a month or so, a month and a half, and how much ownership he's taken and wants to. He wants to win, obviously, but he really takes pride in helping these other guys get better. I mean, he's kind of taken Profar under his wing a little bit, and Odor, and I think DHing helps because he has all that time on the bench to talk to these guys.
Sure.
But he's really been an influential mentor in a short period of time for some of these guys.
I liked what he said too. He said he came from the Yankees where it was much more serious over there. We didn't have quite the same kind of fun, and these guys are crazy, and I'm kind of enjoying it. Something different.
Yeah, well, it helps when the 37-year-old veteran leader's dancing in the box and, getting a rundown and running to the mound before he runs back to first base.
And that's been an interesting dynamic, too, with Adrian and all the guys kind of mixing and matching. He hasn't changed a bit, and guys gravitate toward him no matter how much time they've had.
Yeah, no doubt. He is who he is.
Yeah.
That's how he plays the game. He has fun. From our standpoint, I don't know if it's concern or fear has always been, I want guys to play with the enjoyment that he plays, but not do any of the things he does because he's so unique and he's able to, have that laser focus when he needs to, but back off and have, and kind of.
Right.
Most guys can't do the stuff that he does, joke around, and also be able to have the intensity that he has.
Right.
Most guys, it would be a distraction for them. He's so unique in that. So I think the intensity, the way he plays, the way he runs, all those things, you want guys to emulate the specifics of it.
Right.
He's the only one that can handle that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do all those things when you hit 30 home runs and knock in 100 runs. And, you can go back to our era, Buzz. There it goes.
I think Carlos got that one.
That might be in the upper deck.
Way out.
It is.
It is. Upper tank for Carlos Gomez. We got a brand new ball game.
Think that means something to him against these guys?
I think so.
Wow. He hit some balls.
Into the game.
Hit some balls pretty well, including the grand slam against King Felix, but I don't know how many balls he's hit like that before. That's the first one, Buzz, I think has been hit up there this year. That I can remember anyway.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
But there was a player back when we were playing, Buzz, before he hit that home run, Mark Fidrich.
Yeah.
And, if you go out and pat the mound and talk to the ball and do all the things he did and you don't pitch very well, no one pays any attention to it.
Right.
But when you back that up with tremendous performance, then, you can kind of get away with those kind of things. That's the short, quick stroke that we've been talking about the last month. You don't see the helmet flying. You don't see him falling down. That's an under control, powerful, short stroke. 104 miles an hour off the bat and off the facing of that upper deck.
Got to give some credit to Brandon Boyd, the equipment manager. Got him a helmet that fits him. You don't see it
That's
bouncing
been the problem all
there
these
you
years.
go.
Wow.
Yeah, if you can get Adrian and
Joey Gallo.
You can get them to say, wow. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So, there you go. The walks and then the 3-run bomb. Carlos Gomez, his 7th home run in a Ranger uniform.
That shot they show it with Adrian and Joey, and that for me sums up one of the great things about this team: the balance between the veterans in their prime, young guys coming up, and to have the ability to have Joey spend the game next to Adrian on the rail like that. Only good things can come from that.
And the acceptance that the veteran players have for the younger guys too. They're willing to teach, but they're willing to accept them too as part of the team.
Really saw that in spring training this year. When the B squad, so to speak, would come in, and one was bigger than the next and faster than the next, and the level of maturity too. I think the veteran guys really appreciate that about that next group coming up. That it was more than just kind of quote unquote prospects, and these guys had the ability to play.
I can remember kidding at one of the games we were doing from Surprise, Arizona, about the B squad, the second line of guys coming in. They were bigger than the first, and the game was kind of a close game until they came in and blew it apart. You had Brinson, you had Mazzara, and you had Gallo, and all these guys. They were all 6'4" or 6'5", and they were running like deer and hit the ball out of sight. Well, what a great look for the future of the organization, along with the presence that you have out there.
We talked in a staff meeting. You're supposed to have, I think it's 4 regulars in every spring training game. The fans come out, they want to see the best players, and understandably, it was early in camp. I think it might have been maybe the second game against Kansas City, and we were kind of pushing that rule a little bit. But the guys that were playing, it was Gallo, it was Mazzara, it was Brinson, it was Rua, it was Profar. I mean, and so we actually got a call from MLB and said, hey, you're technically in violation of the rule, but we're not going to fine you because You know, these are guys that your fans want to see anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I think we won like 9 or 10-0. That's been a real fun part of the year to this point. Certainly, is seeing these guys break in and be, like you said, Buzz, really be accepted by the veteran group. They did a great job by our development staff to have them prepared to play. And not
sure.
And it wasn't prepared to play and come up in July or August. I mean, Nomar was a regular 2 weeks into the season. Matt Bush, who hadn't played, and,
right.
and goes down to AA, and Joe Miklik and Brian Schaus and all the coordinators that went through there, got him ready to play. It's a great job by that group.
So we've been kind of speculating about postseason rosters and 8 men in the bullpen, 7 men in the bullpen. When do you guys really get serious about your meetings to try to finalize that kind of stuff?
Probably, I think with some of these guys coming back, I think we're probably going to wait until after the last day, the next Monday, Tuesday, sit down as a group and talk about it. And the big ones are, what does Chu do this weekend?
Right.
How does he look? He's looked great in the instructional league. Barnett, I know Banny wants to try to get into a game maybe even tonight. Jeffers, it's another outing for him, and really see how these guys bounce back.
Right.
We're not going to have a chance probably to put them through the full range of tests. The back-to-back days and kind of an up-down. Although Jeffers did get that yesterday. But that'll play into it when we make those calls here probably right after the season.
Boy, with the guys coming back too, the guys you mentioned, you do have a multitude of options, which is kind of unusual this time of year.
That's certainly the hope. Kevin Harmon was joking earlier. He said, "I'm hoping to make it tough on you guys." Their trainer. He said, "I'm hoping to make it tough on make you guys have some tough calls." And ultimately, that's what we want. If we can get all these guys, knock on wood, healthy and ready to go. Those are good decisions to have to make.
And the versatility. We talked about versatility with Profar and guys like that in a different sense during the regular season, but now, when you're trying to set a postseason roster, that versatility becomes a huge benefit to you.
Especially if we want to consider 8 relievers,
right?
Like you mentioned there. That's where these guys that can play different spots have a lot of value for Banny. If something happens over the course of a game, an injury or or whatever, obviously come into even more importance if we're fortunate enough to advance to the World Series and the National League rules. But even early on, I mean, you see it all the time.
Well, that's going to do it. John, we really appreciate you coming by, and thank you very much for Carlos Gomez. We appreciate that.
I'm glad I picked the bottom half of the inning to come on.
There you go.
Yeah. Finally smartened up after all this.
John, thank you.